Have you recently organized your closet? You donated, you folded, color coded, and for a hot minute, it looked absolutely amazing. But now, the piles, they may be creeping back in. That weird chair in your corner is now wearing more outfits than you are. And somehow you're back to wearing the same 3 outfits on repeat again. If you're wondering, Nancy, why can't I just stay organized? You are not alone. Most of us are never taught how to maintain a clean, stylish, and easy to use closet. So today I'm breaking down the 8 reasons why your closet keeps getting cluttered and how to finally fix it. So getting dressed feels like a joy, not a chore. And trust me, this is the system I use in my own wardrobe and with anyone I've ever styled. And no, you don't need fancy bins or a giant walk-in closet to make it work. So let's dive right in. Mistake number 1 is you're organizing your closet for how you wish you dressed. This is such a common trap, and honestly, I've been guilty of this myself. After a good clean out, it's tempting to arrange everything like a magazine spread. Maybe you're thinking, this year I will finally wear all those crisp white button downs. Or I really want to be that woman who wears linen trousers and ballet flats to the coffee shop. But in reality, if you're retired, semi-retired, or just not running out to meetings anymore, your wardrobe needs are different. And if you're organizing your closet like you're dressing for a fantasy life, you never actually reach for those things that you own. I had a client, let's call her Susan, who kept her closet sorted by formality, not function. So her workwear was beautifully hung and perfectly pressed, but she hadn't worked in 5 years. Meanwhile, her everyday jeans were crammed into a bin that she barely looked at. Every morning, getting dressed felt like a hassle. The things she actually needed were hidden, and the things she didn't wear were front and center. So here's the fix. Start by identifying your real-life categories. Are you dressing for casual days, social lunches, walks with friends, or even travel? Then rearrange your closet so that those pieces are what's up front and center. And that doesn't mean you have to give up on aspirational style, but it does mean grounding that actual closet space with what supports your life now. Mistake number 2, you don't have a holding zone. Now let's talk about the pile. You know the one, it's on the bench, on a chair, maybe even inside a tote bag that never gets emptied. And it's where all the maybe pieces go. The top you're unsure about, the pants that don't fit quite right, the sweater you might wear again next fall. Do any of these sound familiar? If they do, let me know in the comments. What is your go-to pile in your house? But here's the thing, the pile isn't just clutter, it's a bunch of decisions you're postponing. And every time you see it, your brain actually goes into overload thinking. Should I keep this? Should I try it again? Maybe later. And that ends up being decision fatigue. Believe it or not, it adds a lot of stress to getting dressed. In fact, I do have a confession for you. I used to keep a pile like that hidden in a decorative basket. Cute on the outside, closet chaos on the inside. Once I gave myself permission to have a formal still deciding bin, the pressure actually disappeared. I wasn't forced to make a snap decision, but because it was contained and I couldn't see it, I also wasn't letting indecision take over my whole space. So here's the fix for that pile. Add a small box or a bin and label it still deciding, or try again later. When something doesn't feel quite right, just pop it in there. Then once a month, set a reminder and just go through it. If you didn't think about it, you didn't reach for it, and you didn't miss it, maybe it's time to let that piece go. And I have another tip for you on this. You can also use this little trick for seasonal transitions. Items you're unsure about for spring, put them in the bin, revisit them next year, and guess what? I bet your instincts are probably right. Mistake number 3 is you're not editing regularly. I want you to think about your closet like a fridge. You wouldn't just do one big clean out a year and expect your fridge to stay fresh, right? The same goes for your wardrobe. Even if you did a big seasonal purge, things do sneak back in. Gifts you feel obligated to keep, sale purchases you regret, or older items that just no longer feel like you. In fact, I have a quick stat to drop for you. According to a study by ClosetMaid, the average woman only wears about 20% of her wardrobe regularly. That means 80% of your closet might just be taking up space. So here's the fix for that. Treat closet editing like a mini monthly reset. And you don't need to take a lot of time. Schedule one day a month and just take 10 minutes to do a quick sweep. Anything that doesn't fit or feel good, toss it in the donation bin. Anything that's worn out or pilled, out it goes. Anything I haven't worn in the past month and still don't feel like wearing, I might move it aside, but it's a clue that it's probably going to be on the way out. And it's not about being ruthless. It's about being honest. If it's not serving you, it's actually stealing space from something that will. And it's forcing you not to see the clothes that you actually love to wear. And here's a little tip for you. Keep an open top basket or a tote labeled donate right in your closet, because that's going to make editing seamless and you'll be surprised how quickly it fills up. Mistake number 4, you're keeping someday clothes. Now, I want to have a little heart to heart with you because this one runs deep. We all have those someday clothes. The pants that will definitely fit once we start walking more. The fancy dress that we're saving for a gala that hasn't happened since 2009. Or the blouses that we loved in theory, but we never actually wear. These pieces aren't just cluttering your closet. They're really silent whisperers. And what they're saying is, you're not good enough yet. And you know what? We don't need that energy anywhere near our wardrobe. In fact, I have a story for you on this. I probably have many stories for you on this, but here's one that just comes to mind. I had a gorgeous pair of cream trousers from a luxury brand that I bought on final sale. They were absolutely stunning, but they never fit right. I held on to them for years, thinking I'd get into them someday. But every time I saw them, they made me feel bad, like I just wasn't good enough. Finally, I had to let them go. And you know what? I felt 10 pounds lighter, even though my scale hadn't budged. So here's a fix if you have this problem. Create a keepsake bin if the item is truly sentimental, something tied to a milestone or a memory. But otherwise, if it's not right for your body today, it doesn't deserve to have prime real estate in your closet. In fact, I want you to ask yourself this and be honest. Would I buy this again today at full price for my current lifestyle and body? If the answer is no, it's probably time to release it. And I have something I really want to share with you. Your wardrobe is meant to support who you are today, right now, in this moment, not who you used to be or who you hope to become. Let go of guilt and let in some grace. Mistake number 5, you don't have clear categories. Raise your hand if you ever lost track of a piece you knew you owned, but you couldn't find it in the sea of tops, sweaters, etc. And that's what happens when your closet has no clear structure. When tanks are hanging next to sweaters and your workout leggings are tangled up with your tailored pants, it actually becomes visually overwhelming. And the more overwhelmed you feel, the more likely you are to default to the same 3 outfits on repeat. When I'm making over a closet, I always like to start with simple categories, item by type, then by color. And I like to keep the most popular and pieces I use the most front and center. So first you're going to think about layering basics. Those are going to be your long sleeve tees, shells, and tanks. And then there's what I like to call third pieces. And that's going to be sweaters, cardigans, vests, and jackets. Then we've got another section called your daily bottoms. And that's going to be your jeans, your pull-on pants, and skirts. And then have another section called your occasion wear. So if you have a wedding or a funeral or some sort of event you have to go to, all those fancier pieces you're going to keep together, almost like a going out to a fancy event capsule wardrobe. And then the last section is going to be your casual wear, your lounge wear, workout wear, and travel pieces. Just those really comfortable pieces that you gravitate to. Once things are grouped, you're going to start to see your wardrobe differently. Patterns are going to start to emerge. Duplicates stand out like you would not believe. And getting dressed really becomes so much simpler. And define each space. In fact, if you want to see how I broke out my wardrobe and the thought process that went into it all, I recently did a whole spring cleaning video, and you can see how I categorized everything in my closet. You can go check that out right here. And what should you do with like extra spaces, like high shelves or a deep drawer, spaces you don't go to on a regular basis? I like to use those for categories I don't use on a regular basis, like hats, handbags that are out of season, even coats and other pieces that I just don't go to on a daily basis. And what that will do, it will help keep your prime space reserved for your beautiful everyday clothes. Mistake number 6, you're recluttering when you shop. All right, this one stings a little, but let's talk shopping, because you can declutter and organize beautifully, but if you're bringing in too much of the wrong stuff, that clutter cycle starts all over again. Sometimes we shop for a mood. Sometimes we shop just because we're tired or depressed, want a little pick-me-up, or because we saw something cute on Instagram, or let's be honest, because it was 40% off and we had a promo code. But every single piece that enters your closet takes up space and mental energy. So let's flip the switch from mindless shopping to mindful shopping. A few years ago, I bought the cutest print tunic. The colors were gorgeous and it fit really well, but every time I tried it on, I didn't actually wear it. Why? Because it didn't go with anything else that I owned. And the problem was I was trying to build an entire outfit around this one tricky piece that just didn't go with anything else in my wardrobe. And you know what? That's a recipe for a reclutter. So when you're bringing in new clothes or you're out shopping, or surfing online, try using the 3-way rule when you're shopping. Can I wear this item 3 different ways? Does it work for 3 occasions? And would I wear it at least 3 times this season? If it fails the test, it's probably a no. Also, make a wish list. So when you're in your closet in the morning getting dressed, and you say to yourself, oh, if I only had, what is it? Fill in that blank. That's when you're buying with intention and changing your mindset and buying the things you actually need to go in your closet, rather than going when you're tired or bored or in a mood and you just want something to fill you up. If you're buying mindfully, you're only going to bring in things that go with the wardrobe you already have. Keeping a shopping list or a wish list will help keep your closet curated, and it will keep regrets off of your receipts. Mistake number 7, you haven't built an outfit zone. Let's talk about a very sneaky kind of clutter. It's the kind that doesn't live in your drawers or your shelves, but it ends up scattered across your bed, your dresser, the floor. I call this the try-on tornado. It starts with one outfit idea that didn't quite work. Then you make a second attempt. Then a pile of maybe tomorrows that don't even make it back onto the hanger. And if this sounds a little familiar, you are not alone. Styling indecision is one of the biggest culprits of a closet mess. And if you've ever had a try-on tornado, let me know in the comments, because I've had many of them over the years. In fact, I remember prepping for a brunch event and pulling out 3 different outfits, none of which felt right at the moment. I ended up wearing jeans and a tee. But when I came home, all 3 looks were still in a pile on the floor, staring at me like, well, what now? So if you want to avoid that problem like I've had, build a designated outfit zone in your closet. Now let me explain what it is. It could be a rolling rack if you have space, a section of your closet reserved for pre-styled looks, even a single hook or a bar for your next day's outfit. And you can use this space for weekly outfit planning, for new pieces you're testing out, or looks you want to style in a reel or video. What it's going to do is give your closet a sense of flow, not chaos. And it's going to save you tons of time in the morning. And I have another tip for you. Keep a little basket or have a side drawer reserved for all the accessories you're going to be wearing with that outfit, so that everything is ready to go when you are. Mistake number 8, you don't have a 1 in, 1 out rule. And I know I get comments on this all the time. It sounds strict, but hear me out. This one rule has saved so many people I know from slipping right back into a cluttered closet. If something new comes in, something old goes out. That's it. It's super simple, but it's incredibly effective. Now I know I'm always using recipes, kitchens, supermarkets as analogies, but I've got another one for you. Think about your closet like your kitchen. If you bought a new blender, you wouldn't keep 3 broken ones under the sink for just in case. But we do this with clothes all the time. So here's the fix. When you bring in a new piece, say it's a fresh spring dress or a new pair of jeans, I want you to pause and ask yourself, what can I let go of to make space for this? And you know what? It doesn't have to be in the same category. You might buy a new sweater and decide there's a scarf you never wear that you can part with. And that whole process keeps the flow going and helps you maintain balance in your wardrobe. And it stops the slow creep of clutter. And I know I mentioned this earlier, but the best way to do that is just keep a basket or a box that's a small donation bin in your closet or nearby. year round, because the easier it is to let it go, the more likely you are to do it in the actual moment. So if your closet keeps getting cluttered, it's not about being messy. It's about not having a system that fits how you actually live. But now you've got one, because it's not about what you own. It's about how you use it. It's not about what you wear. It's how what you wear makes you feel. And it's definitely not about perfection. It's about peace. So whether you're trying an outfit zone, editing monthly, or finally saying goodbye to someday pieces, just remember your wardrobe should support your current life and not stress you out. If you haven't already, grab my Ultimate Style Refresh Guide in the description below. It's totally free and packed with tools to help you shop smarter and stay organized for the long haul. And let me know in the comments, what's one small change you're going to make this week? I can't wait to hear what's working for you. Oh, and if you missed my closet clean out video, make sure it's your next watch. It pairs perfectly with this one. Stay gorgeous, and I'll see you in that video.